ECG is actually a moving graph paper. But before you start interpreting ECG, always remember two basic settings, that is time and voltage. On ECG paper, time is plotted in seconds or milliseconds on horizontal axis and voltage is plotted in millivolts along the vertical axis. That's why we calculate heart rate along the horizontal axis and we measure amplitude of the different waves, for example, amplitude of the QRS complex along the vertical axis. As I mentioned in previous lecture, one small box in ECG paper is equal to 1 millimeter and 5 small boxes make one big box which is equal to 5 millimeter. When ECG paper speed is 25 mm per second, one small box is equal to 0.04 second. 0.04 multiplied by 5 is equal to 0.20. So one big box is equal to 0.20 second. Now the question is, why one small square is equal to 0.04 seconds? Remember, it depends on the ECG paper speed. Here is the formula to calculate the duration of the one small square in ECG paper. It is 1 divided by the paper speed. If ECG paper speed is 25 mm per second, then 1 divided by 25 is equal to 0.04 seconds. So one small box will be equal to 0.04 seconds and 5 small boxes will be equal to 0.2 seconds. But if the ECG paper speed is 50 mm per second, then 1 divided by 50 is equal to 0.02 seconds. So one small box will be equal to 0.02 seconds and 5 small boxes will be equal to 0.1 second. On the other hand, if ECG paper speed is 5 mm per second, then 1 divided by 5 is equal to 0.2 seconds. So one small box will be equal to 0.2 seconds and 5 small boxes will be equal to 1 second. So do not assume, do not cram that one small box is always equal to 0.04 seconds. Rather, look at the ECG paper speed which is given here. As the speed changes, time duration of the small box and large box also change. At standard ECG paper speed of 25 mm per second, according to formula given in the previous slide, the duration of one small box is equal to 0.04 seconds and duration of the one large box is equal to 0.20 seconds. Similarly, duration of the 5 large boxes is equal to 1 second, duration of the 15 large boxes equal to 3 second, and duration of the 30 large boxes equal to 6 second. And that's how you can convert seconds into milliseconds by multiplying with 1000. So 0.04 second is equal to 40 millisecond and 0.20 seconds equal to 200 milliseconds. Look at this ECG. Here, 5 large boxes make 1 second and 30 large boxes make 6 seconds. And this is called as 6-second strip. Now let's talk about second important setting of ECG paper, that is voltage. Voltage is plotted on vertical axis in millivolts. One small square is equal to 0.1 millivolt. 5 small squares are equal to 0.5 millivolt and 10 small squares are equal to 1 millivolt. Voltage is given here. Look at this, 10 mm per millivolt. This arrow is pointing towards this calibration mark. This is called as standard calibration mark and it represents voltage setting of the ECG paper. It is present before these limb leads as well as the precordial leads. Remember that height of this standard calibration mark must be equal to 10 small squares. Remember, its height must not be less than or greater than 10 small squares. Now, by the end of this lecture, you must know that before you start interpreting ECG, look for the two important settings. Number one, 10 mm per millivolt, which means that height of this calibration mark is equal to 10 small squares. And the other is 25 mm per second, which means that the standard ECG paper speed is 25 mm per second. And if you do not find these two settings correct, ask staff to repeat ECG with standard ECG protocol and only then start interpreting ECG.